What's up, people? It's Trent, aka Fatherrdiff, and I'm back again with another vlog. And today I want to compare with you the difference between a 50mm 1.8, 1.4, and 1.2. And we're gonna do both video and picture, so that way you can see how it affects both of them. Now, while I wait for Thomas until he gets here, I've kind of rigged up my hammock. I got this old, I guess, tire pressure, air pressure thing. Remember, this used to be a store, so I'm rigging it from there to the inside of the Jeep. Yeah, probably shouldn't do it, but I'm gonna do it. And that's my little rigged up table. But look who finally decided to show up. If I can get out the doggone hand. This guy. With the Vineyard on. Chill out. What's up? Alright, so like I said, we're gonna go over the 1.8. We're gonna go over the 1.4. And we're also gonna go over the bad boy, the 1.2. And remember, these two, they are not weather sealed, so just keep that in mind. You don't want to be out in the rain shooting with these. You're gonna mess them up. Promise you. You don't believe me? Go out and try it. The 1.2, the L lens, is Canon's professional lens, and it is weather sealed, so that's gonna block out the dust and the rain. So we're gonna compare all three of these. Right now, we're gonna give you both photography and video, and we're gonna take them down to the lowest aperture possible. With this being a 1.2, that background should be blurry. They call it bukia. Bukia, something like that. Anyway, it's just how strong the background is blurred out. So 1.2 compared to a 1.8, is it gonna be noticeable? Or 1.2 compared to 1.4, is that gonna be noticeable? I mean, let's find out. Alright, so we are at the lake, and we're gonna go ahead and show you how the 1.8 works and how good the bokeh is. So we're gonna show you 1.8 first and let you look at that, and then we're gonna transition into each single one. Alright, so just a heads up, like, we're shooting this at the brightest time of the day simply because it works for our schedule. And it's not the best time you want to shoot without your ND filter, which is what I'm using on that camera, but it's way too big to fit on this. So in order for me to compensate for that, I have to raise up the shutter speed. My shutter speed is at 500. So that's how fast that shutter's gonna open and close. So if it's at 500 of a second or 500, it's gonna be real quick. So that's how I'm gonna compensate for it being 1.8 with the aperture being so wide for this one. And we're just gonna continue to do that over this time period. So now for the next one, we're gonna go ahead and find another spot that we can shoot in, hopefully in the shade. So as you can see, with this being 1.4, and 100 of a second on here, and my ISO at 100 was still pretty bright, and my ND filter is at number 5. That's as dark as it's gonna allow me to go unless I open up the aperture. We'll close it. See how that gets darker? Yeah.
Should've brought a towel because I know this is dirty.
You too good to get dirty, man? You don't want to get the volume dirty. But yeah, when the sun is this bright, you're gonna want to raise up your shutter speed, and you're gonna want to try to find shaded areas if you don't have an ND filter. It's just one way to kind of compensate for that. So we're gonna shoot on this one. All right, so now I have on the 1.4 And we're gonna take a few pictures here just to show that. We'll try to get a little bit of the water in the background too, to just kind of give a little bit of a different setting. Again, with this aperture going up wider to 1.4, I have to up the shutter speed. So I'm gonna take it from 500 to 1,000. I'm gonna go even higher just to be safe. So I'm gonna take it to 1,600. Perfect, perfect, I like that. Thomas, do me a favor, stand up for me. Now when you do things like that, the reason why I asked him to step down was because I don't have on an ND filter, so even though I can see him good, the light behind him, which is the clouds, they're blown out. They're real bright, and I know I won't be able to save it in post. So that's why I got him standing over here now. All right, look at me. Alright, and remember, these pictures aren't meant to be like a freaking photo shoot or anything. They're just something to show you the difference between and give you some examples of what to expect with the difference in the apertures of a 1.8, 1.4, 1.2. I can tell you now that this 1.2 is going to be a struggle. What I may do is I may take the ND filter off of that camera and put it on the 1.2 just to save it a little bit, because with it being that wide, it's gonna let in a lot of light. But we're still gonna try it anyway, just to be sure. Alright, so with a random change of events, I ended up on a boat. Thanks to Mr. Craig right there. Pretty cool gentleman. So he's gonna take us on a little trip around the lake. I'm ready with it, however fast you wanna take it. Yes. So now we're gonna end up in an inner tube after this. I had to take the hat off because if I had it on, it'll be out there in the water, and I'm not getting out there in that water for a hat. Well, back off the boat. Kind of caught me off guard. So I'm gonna walk up back to my Jeep and clean off my toes. Don't talk about them in the comments, let me live. I'm gonna put my shoes back on. Then we're gonna get right back to it. And now we're back to our regularly scheduled programming.
A little bit more soap than normal.
Yeah. You can't stop life when it comes, so you know. So we're gonna get back to the I think I showed you the 1.4. I gave you 2 pictures of that. So now we're gonna go ahead and jump to the 1.2. And we're gonna work with this tree right here. Just do something. Like I said, this isn't gonna be anything like a full-blown shoot or anything. Just something to show you what the lenses are capable of. So since we took this, we're taking this in the shade, it should be okay. I'm gonna do a few sample shots. Right now the shutter speed is at 640, aperture at 1.2. This is the widest that it can go. So we're gonna see how it looks. So these next 3 videos, they're gonna be a comparison of the 50mm 1.2, 1.4, 1.8. I know you're probably tired of me saying it, but so making sure you're keeping up with what's going on. So I'm not gonna use a stabilizer with any of this. We're gonna do this completely handheld, but we're gonna use both 60 frames and 24 frames per second to just get you some B-roll footage, so you can get a feel for if you do start doing these types of videos with that, you can see the difference between the 1.8 all the way down to the 1.2, and if it's worth it. I'm pretty sure I can do whatever I do with the 1.2 with the 1.8. And once I get back to the house, I'll explain why I purchased all 3 of them to begin with. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into the B-roll right now. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys got a lot of information out of that. If not, tell me what you like to see more of or get more into detail about. My first lens was the 50mm 1.4. I got it because I didn't want to, you know, spend the money on the $1,200, which is a 1.2. And I noticed that when I was recording in quiet environments, I could hear that lens like cracking as it focused, and that was kind of a big turning factor to me, and it didn't focus as fast, if that makes sense. Now, another thing that you guys may have noticed in the video was that the 1.2 was kind of hard to catch. If you're moving a lot, that 1.2 is just a very thin focus space, like real thin, but with 1.8 it's a lot wider. So just keep that in mind. Now the 1.8 is fine. It's still not as fast as the 1.2. It crackles also as recording. It just depends on how you want to handle that. As far as pictures, you can see the difference in the background from the 1.8 to the 1.2. So it's all gonna be personal preference. As I said before, I went ahead and upgraded to the 1.2 because of it being quiet, because that 1.2 is gonna let you get in a lot more light, and plus as well, the drawback of that 1.2 is it's a very, very thin field, so you have to be careful. That's the only drawback. But I mean, if you feel like you don't need the 1.2 or the 1.4, go ahead and get the 1.8. It's only 125 bucks. Save you some money. So those are my reasons for getting that 1.2, and I still use the 1.4 from time to time. I just won't use it for video per se, if I'm gonna use the audio from that video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and also remember, if you want to see more stuff like this, or if it's something you want me to get in deeper detail of, comment that below. And there's also a bell, you know, just click it so you'll know when I post something. Thanks again. My name is Trenton, aka Fatherrdiff, and see you guys next time.